Good evening, class. This is your peer, Mikej Jackson. This is assignment number 5, going over Sadhguru. As you know, I watched a few videos, a couple from what the professor had linked for us, and I watched a couple on my own just to really get to know this guy. Because he really wasn't given this. The 2 videos we watched, I didn't really get the sense what he was really trying to get behind. But after watching a few more videos and listening to him, I kind of understood a bit about him and his practices and where he got in life. But yeah, Sadhguru, let's start into it. So right off the bat, I'll go with his emotions. One of the first things I noticed about his emotions was he was humorous and he was always laughing. The way he would answer questions or respond, he would have some smart remark, but nothing rude, just being funny, laughing, getting the person to interview him relaxed and just having a good time with them, get him into this mind of peace. Then throughout all the videos, what I got from Sad was how much he talked about enjoyment. Just enjoy life, enjoy everything, enjoy the bad things, enjoy being there. So that's what I got from his emotions. The biggest experience I found from Sad was when he was interviewed. I think it was the Logan Paul interview. He said about around the age of 4.5, he figured out that he knows nothing. Just knows nothing. That's one hell of an experience at the 4.5 years old. Because he was going on about how his dad was a doctor and his school teachers and these people do this, but he just decided to tell himself that he knows nothing. He just wants to learn. He stays in this center where he just knows nothing. He just listens to everyone and he watches everyone and he doesn't say anything. He's just present. And that kind of brings me back to Thich Nhat Hanh when he talks about, where's it at here? That's somewhere. Here it is. How he talked about being present. Presence in the moment. But back to Sad to finish this up. So his values. He spoke a lot about staying alive. Finding your purpose as a human being. Finding something that makes you stay alive. Something you enjoy, something you love. And that brings me to a connection. Where did I have this one go? So as we know, if you watch the videos, if I'm pronouncing it right, one of his institutions, Isha, he has this institution in India where he goes around to all these communities, these villages, or even around the world, and he talks about health, nutrition, education, and environment. And he really talks about planting trees in the environment, to help the ecosystem in some of these environments. But what he was really getting at was one of his practices that he has to plant the trees in the people's head. If I'm going to make these people stay alive, you have to plant a tree of life in their head. That's the way I was comprehending that. So that's one of his practices too, is planting trees in people's head, but he's actually planting trees when he's working with these villages and these people all over the world about their environment. So he's talking about life, nutrition, health, but at the same time, he's getting to them spiritually to plant the tree in your head, to continue on to live, to stay alive. It's amazing what his institution does for what he's trying to do in life and what he does as a person. Another value was living by danger. He he has to walk the line. And I kind of like that. I mean, it kind of looks at me, I go back to my experiences, being in the Marine Corps, working on the ranch, January 6th. I've always been about, and I was in the infantry in the Marine Corps. If you don't know anything about the infantry, we're front lines. We're the first people in to kick down doors, to charge a beach, to invade a nation if we have to, or go do something if it's times of war. So I understand that sense of danger and living on the line, to live that lifestyle. And so for him to have that at value, it's pretty interesting. I don't even know what to call it, but I could relate it to my experiences. When I look at it, like, wow, he looks at that as a value. I look at it as an experience. Now, and I don't even try to live on walking on the line or danger. I really don't. I don't want to live that way. But he does. Another value that I've seen from when I was watching all his videos was his passion and love for human beings. He just loves being around people. He wants to sit there and just listen to you. He wants to talk to you. He wants to observe you. And then he does this institution where he's trying to plant the tree of life in your head, but at the same time trying to educate you about the environment and the importance of nutrition and why it's important that we're human beings. But that leads me to another, I'm going to say it's attention. He says, this is one of his beliefs that I found pretty early. He believes competition is stupid. I would have to say I understand where he's coming from, because he wants peace, but we're human beings. From my standpoint of being a Christian and from reading scripture my whole life and seeing stuff I've seen, humans have to compete. That's what we do. In order to survive, we have to compete. Survival of the fittest. It's the same with the animals. We are humans, and he acknowledges how much power we have. We are on the top of the food chain. No matter if you don't like or don't believe in it, we're competing no matter what. It don't matter what it is. We are competing at so many different things. That's a different topic. But that's one of my tensions. I don't think competition is stupid. If competition is stupid, where would we be at right now? As a society, as a country, as regular people. But that's that. Here we go. Yeah, also talked about staying young and by feeling young. He's an older man, but he was always talking about how, I'm 25. He says he's 25. That's how he feels. That's how his mind thinks. That's how he acts. And I get that, and I have that comparing to his what are we doing here? Yeah, connections. My bad, I was losing the word connections. That comparison, I was talking about the connections. So the connections, as him staying young by feeling young, having a sense to having a balanced life. And I think what he's trying to go there with that connection is, and that's why I have those connections, the staying alive, feeling young, but connecting it to having a sense to having a balanced life. Throughout his whole life, from what he was talking about with all the videos I watched, he's maintaining this balanced life and having the sense to do that. And that's how he feels young and feeling young, because he maintains this aura of being balanced. And he doesn't rush his days. He doesn't look for tomorrow. He talks about how he would meditate for 25 minutes, and it felt like 7 days to him when he woke up. That's some sort of deep state meditation, and That's freaking awesome. That's all I can say. And then he goes from living a sensible life. He talks a lot about living a sensible life. But another tension I have is that this is one of his beliefs. He was asked what his thoughts about organized religion, and he said madness. And the reason why I think this is a tension, how, if organized religion is madness, now there are some forms of cults or religions out there that are or have led to madness, from extremism or radicalism, just going to the point of like, whoa, this doesn't make any sense. So I get madness. But let's talk about the sensible religion. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. These people a lot of these people that go and find these religions, a lot of them come from backgrounds where they're looking for something meaningful and peace and finding actual sensible in their meaning of life. So to say an organized religion is madness, I kind of have to go with intention on that. But that was just my tension for that one. But living a sensible life is, everyone wants to do that. But when I see his belief, organized religion is madness, I'm like, well, wait a second here. A lot of people found the sensible life through the meaning of organized religion. But with his belief still going on, since I just finished his values, I've talked about organized religion, competition's stupid. Oh yeah, now he was talking a lot about people are stuck in their framework of logic. And that's why I have it comparing to when he was 4.5 years old, he figured out he knows nothing. And that's why he talks about people are stuck in their framework of logic. He's not stuck in his own framework of logic. Of course he has his own framework of logic, but he beat that self where he can stay out of that for the work he's doing. He talks a lot about how people get stuck in this framework of their own opinion and not how the world really is or how they think it is. And that's why I compare it to that, because he knows nothing. That's why he really doesn't fit this boat of a lot of people in this, say in America, here's a good example. In America, people have this stuck in this liberal mindset and people are stuck in this conservative mindset. They're stuck in these two bubbles and they don't want to talk about right here or outside the bubbles. That's what he's talking about. He knows nothing. He's not stuck in this framework. Get out of that framework of logic and be sensible to actually what's going on in reality right now. That's what I had for that one. Then let's see right here. And I have this one. Oh, I meant to have it connecting to enjoyment. I have it connecting to laughter. He says, enjoy everything you do or you will go insane. And I sat there and I thought about that for a little bit. When you look at things you've done wrong, you gotta think about the moment, the emotional reaction, or what brought you to this decision, good or bad. I look at the Marine Corps and I enjoyed everything about it. Because I saw people in the Marine Corps who weren't enjoying it and they were legitimately going insane. You see it all the time. People that just stop enjoying something that they love or they thought they loved, they just go insane. Good or bad, if I just enjoy everything you do or you will go insane. I like that. Look at things like I've done, or bad or good. You're just like, man, you just got to enjoy the moment. And if it's something bad, you're faced the consequences afterwards if you get caught or if you need to. If not, you just move on, you learn, and you make sure if you have kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews, you teach them not to do that and give them wisdom. his practices. I like how he talked about staying joyful to see all sides. Yeah, he talks about being involved with human beings and living a sensible life. And having that sense of a balanced life. To have that balance, having the sense to have a balanced life, he needs to stay and see all the sides of everyone he's dealing with throughout life. So he has to stay joyful. I mean, if someone's being evil to you or bad to you, or it's just negative emotions or just negative, you feel this negative energy, why would you be negative back to make it worse? Maybe all this person needs is just a little joy in their life, and that could just spark something in them to find that tree, to plant that tree in their head. I kind of see what a guru tries to do. I'm no guru, but I see where he's coming from. And I just talked about this earlier. I mean, I have it right here at practice. Look at life what it is and not what you think it is. That goes back to people stuck in their framework of logic. You have to look at life what it is and not what it is. There's this huge, it brings me back to, you have these liberals, you have these conservatives. They're in these bubbles. But the rest of America is just like, what's going on here? just tell the government to leave us alone. Let our liberties move on. I mean, jeez. And lastly, for his practices, taking your own existence beyond your framework of logic. That one just, whew. Man, I mean, this is why I'm studying to be a political philosopher professor. I major in political science and I double minor in philosophy and psychology. This is why I travel. I document events. I look for things. I read. I have all these books in my library, which you can't see. And I do these interviews. And I study people like who are studying now just to see what they're talking about, see what I can relate to. You have to take your existence and what you've learned and move on from this framework of logic. I mean, I really do get that. I mean, this guy's a smart man and he's doing good for his country and his people. And that's pretty much it for what I was studying up on Sadhguru. And you go back to I mean, there's not a lot I could relate to from my own self, but just maybe a couple here. I mean, I already talked about him with a few, but then I brought up about the present, being present. Wow, Thich Nhat Hanh and Sadhguru, just being there, that balanced. Oh yeah, there we go. I think I might have something to do with this too. I might have brought community up in one of these. Let me see here. Well, I guess since I brought up nation, but so Sadhguru has this institution, Isha. He goes all over India, even parts of the world, and he plants trees. He talks about the environment, your health, educating you. That's community work. He's all about his community and his country and helping his country thrive and his people. You go back to Thich Nhat Hanh, he was all about his community. He says you're nothing without your community. Your community is where you're from. And that brings me to our nation, America. America is my community. What we have so much in common here. What can we do to thrive as a nation from the local level and state level? little things like that. This was a great video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and to understand Sadhguru and some comparisons and a little bit of tensions, and I hope the rest of the semester goes good for you guys, and I hope to do other videos. All right, God bless.